What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Patriot Specialized. Currently on site at Westside Tractor Sales in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We are picking up a wheel loader that's tucked over back there in the corner, 844 John Deere wheel loader for one of our customers over in Canton, Ohio. They dropped it off. They were doing a job over here, dropped it off. They had the rear end went out or something. Dropped it off over here to get it fixed. So we're here to pick it up. But first, one of you guys, one of the subscribers, wanted to know exactly how unhooking the trailer works and do a description on that. So while since we're here and we're gonna load up that wheel loader, I figured I'd go ahead and show you exactly how the detach and reattach work on the trailer. So here we go. The first step you want to do is drop the air. So what that's going to do is drop the trailer down as low as it can be, so when you're getting ready to detach. So once you got your air dropped, you're going to want to back into the kingpin a little bit, because you actually have to disconnect completely. So you're going to back into the kingpin a little bit and make sure you have no pressure on your kingpin and set your tractor brakes. That's where we are currently sitting right now. So the next steps that we got to do is, all we're doing now is just disconnecting the trailer, pulling away from it, setting this part of the trailer right here onto the ground, which will allow us to drive up on it. So here we go. We do that by pulling the kingpin, taking our airlines off, disconnecting our electric, and then we just pull away. Okay, so now we're pulled out from underneath it. What you want to make sure of is that you pull out far enough away from the trailer that your frame is not touching these rollers. These rollers are designed to catch the frame and roll that thing right up onto the fifth wheel as you're backing under it. So you just want to make sure that you're out away from your trailer and the whole neck is sitting all the way down on the ground. Next step, since you're already detached from the trailer, what happened there is that allowed this whole neck to be sitting down on the trailer right here, solid. So this also allows these dog ears to become loose so that you can get them rehooked. The only thing holding this trailer up when we put it back together are these dog ears right here. There's one on this side and one on that side. That's the only thing holding these two pieces. Well, that and the pin holding these pieces together. So these are the most imperative part of this trailer, of reconnecting the trailer. So once you pull away from it, you come on here, you want to disconnect your air lines, your electrical line. All right. And there is a hole cut out right here in almost every single trailer. There's a hole cut out right here. You want to tuck your air lines and your electrical line down in that hole so you don't drive over top of them with any of the units that you're putting on the trailer and damage them. So once you get that tucked down in the hole, you're going to come underneath here and you need to flip these dog ears. And the way these work is you pull the cotter pin, take the pin out, take this brace out. I always set mine right in here so they're always there. Then this pulls forward, comes off that pin there. Flip it. The same thing on this side. Pull it forward, flip it. Sometimes you end up with the dog ears catching on the ground here. Sometimes you gotta take a second and just swipe this away and make sure you got good clearance, especially after you load or unload, because it's gonna wiggle the trailer a little bit down into the gravel or dirt or whatever. It's gonna wiggle that trailer down in a little bit. So you wanna make sure you have good clearance underneath there to get your dog ears flipped. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to reconnect the truck back to the neck of the trailer. What's going to happen here is, as I come back, the front end of this trailer is going to pick up, and it's going to pick this up completely off the trailer, this front piece of frame completely off the trailer, and start taking pressure off the pin. So let's do it. All right, so now that we got reconnected, you probably saw that the whole neck of the trailer lifted up a little bit, and you can see down here that this is picked up off the trailer a little bit, and that's what you want to see. So the next step is we're going to be pulling this thing away from the trailer next. So the important part here is if you don't do anything right now to support this neck on the frame, then when you go to pull away, that whole back of is just going to fall down onto the ground. You're going to be in a world of hurt. It's going to be very difficult to get that picked back up in order to get rehooked back up. So the solution to that, and it's kind of crazy, you spend $100 and some thousand on a trailer and you need a 6x6 to make it work, but that's what we're going to do. I got a 6x6 I keep. You guys have seen me, a whole bunch of my videos, moving them in and out. And I put a 6x6 across the back of the frame of the tractor so it touches the frame of the trailer. And then we're going to raise our air. So here we go. Now I put that in there so that it's just barely sitting below the frame of the trailer itself. And the next step is you jump back in the tractor and raise the air. What's that's going to happen, once I hit that air switch, it's going to start lifting the tractor air up. It's going to take this 6x6 board, touch the frame of this, take the pressure off. And here is the pin right here that holds the neck of the trailer to the trailer itself. We pull that pin and then we're good to go. All right, now what I did when I pulled this lever here is it pulls this pin out away from this ear, pulls it out. Now I'm able to detach anytime I want. I can just pull right away now. And that's all there is to get this thing detached. I know it seemed like a lot of steps and explanation. It takes a few minutes, but really in reality, that whole process at an average speed, not even trying to hurry, takes me about 4.5 minutes to do. To get it detached, and another roughly 4.5 minutes to get it reattached. So right now I'm gonna pull this thing away. We're gonna put that wheel loader on the trailer, and then I'll talk about when I reconnect it. It's the exact same thing, you just do it backwards. A couple little things are different, how you line up the trailer and whatnot, but other than that, it's basically the same exact thing, doing it in reverse. Make sure you don't forget certain steps. So we'll talk about that here in a minute as soon as we get that wheel loader put on the trailer. All right, there's our wheel loader right there. Dimensions on this thing come in at 11.4 wide on the bucket, 12.4 tall in height, and I think she weighs about 65,000 pounds. Trailer. What I do to get back into the trailer is I make sure this portion of I'm watching in my mirror, and I'm watching this portion of the trailer and make sure it's lined up with this portion of the bottom of the trailer. And if I get those two lined up, then that center pin is going to go right into place. And if I got it right, once I push on it, get the air to drop. Nope, I'm out just a touch. That pin will go in, which won't allow this portion of the top deck of the trailer to pull away from it once I disconnect and come out from under it in order to flip my dog ears back. But I didn't get it quite right, but that's okay. The way around that is, if it doesn't go all the way in, what I do is I already have my pin pulled. I'm taking my board out here in a minute. I'm gonna jump in the truck, and instead of pulling away from it, I'll back into it a little bit and pop that pin in. Once it goes in, then I know I can just pull right away. So let's do it. Now, if this goes the way I just said it would, watch this pin right here. If you can see it, watch this pin right here. When I back up a little bit, this pin is gonna pop in. Once it pops in, I know I can watch that in my mirror. I'll know I can pull away from the trailer. Here we go. All right, so pin is in place. You saw it pop in. I hope you saw it pop in. We're away from the trailer. Neck is sitting back down on the trailer. Now what we want to do is hook up our airlines and flip our dog ears. And this is the violent part of reconnecting to a manual RGN. With the weight on the trailer, when I come back and it starts to pick up on this on the frame, it is picking up the whole trailer. It's picking up the load, the trailer, everything. So it's pretty violent on the back of that frame. A little bit of a struggle, so you got to be real careful right here. You don't do any damage to anything. Make sure you're lined up. What I always do is I look and see where my fender is on my truck, but you're going to know when it's hooked up. You can look and see what lines up with the edge of the trailer, and just make sure you're lined up right there when you're coming back in. That'll help get your kingpin right smack in the center place. So here we go. See, I was off a little bit, so because I was off a little bit, I decided to pull up and get lined up right so I can come back in straight. And that's it, we're in. That one struggled a little bit because the gravel that we're on, we're trying to pick up all that weight. And that gravel got our tires spinning a little bit, but all I did, get latched back in, make sure you're latched. Check your kingpin lever and make sure it's latched all the way. You only do that once. And now that we're latched together, we can hook our airlines back up. I flipped my air drop valve, so my air is starting to raise back up. So as soon as it gets all the way up, it's gonna pick up on the trailer. We'll get our airlines hooked back up, and we'll get this thing chained down, and we'll get out of here. So be right back. All right, guys, we're all loaded up. We're gonna cover securement real quick. This thing, supposedly, according to them, it weighed 65,000 pounds. Okay. We secured it that way. So what we got going on here is I put my clevis in up here on the back, on where the toe pin goes through. I put my clevis in, one chain all the way across right there. Full buy, we get full credit for that chain. Then they got these tie down points. The tie down points inside there. I put a chain there coming straight down to this side, hooked to the trailer. Same thing on the other side. Obviously got our flag on. Widest portion of load. Got to mark the 4 corners. We got in the middle here, we got one chain, 2 binders. I ran one chain, hooked it through the tow hook, came straight down to the trailer. Then I threw the access chain across, did the same thing on the other side. We also have the pin in on the other side, so technically we don't need that chain for articulation purposes, but we need it for securement, for weight. So great spot to put it, so I went ahead and put them there. And then on the back, did the same thing. I came off their tow hooks right there, straight down to this side, tied in. The same thing on the other side. And then the last one, because you got to have the bucket tied in. So what I did there was I went up through the holes in the bucket all the way across to the other side. So we get full credit for that chain, half credit for these chains. So basically we also have our flags marking the corner of the bucket. This was kind of tough. Without having another magnet, I'm gonna have to buy another magnet set. It would have been a lot easier back here to have a magnet, but this worked out okay. It's marking the very corner. Back of our load. She's 11 foot 4 inches wide on the bucket. Didn't quite get it perfectly straight. I got a little bit more hanging on the passenger side, which is, I kind of prefer it that way. That's where the mailboxes are. The other side's where the traffic is, so kind of better that way. Here's this side, obviously the same thing. Did our flag on the back. We're 11 foot 4 wide, 12 foot 4 tall. I'm actually gonna get out on that pavement right over there. I'm gonna get on that pavement and get an accurate measurement on this. Oh man, you know what? I need to put an exhaust cover on that thing too. So we're gonna get the exhaust covered up and then we're gonna get out of here. So we will talk to you guys soon.